We're back on the Team Courage couch again. Joey's here with me, and I just thought we'd have a chat about some things. Normally, people seem to get a lot out of these talks, and I know I definitely enjoy talking to Joey and Steve about training. But the last week or two, I suppose, especially with the launch of the 21-day program and a few people putting in that and setting up our online programs, probably the number one thing that keeps coming up is accountability as a word, which has always been an interesting thing for me, because I'm not sure that people truly understand what accountability is and how lasting our accountability works. I'll just elaborate on that a little bit more, and then we'll talk to Joe about it. But it's like, if you really truly want lasting accountability, what you have to understand is you're not letting me or the other coaches down when you do these things that you think that I'm going to keep you accountable for. Is you actually let yourself down. Like if you come to me and you said, Ian, like I didn't lose any weight this week. I had wines with my friends on the weekend. I'm like, oh man, like I'm bummed for you, but I'm not going to yell at you like you're a child. Oh, I can't believe you drank wines on the weekend and got off your program. It's like, I'm not upset about it. I maybe feel like slightly disappointed for you for a second, but I'm not mad about it. Yeah. Because it wasn't my goal to lose a kilo that week. It was my goal to attempt to help you, and if I laid out all the information there in front of you and did my best for that, like the problem is somewhere along the line your willpower didn't allow you to achieve your own goals, and we've got to find where that friction point was so I can help you create a system around avoiding that friction point. It's like if you're not fit for a fight, for example, if you didn't get fit enough for a fight, I'd be worried if my fighter came back to me and was like, oh look, I'm training gyms because you didn't make me fit enough for my fight. I'm like, well, see you later, loser. Because there's one thing you shouldn't be doing is blaming your coach for not being fit enough for the fight. Like I can provide all the systems there for you, but like if I tell you to do 2 lots of hill sprints a week and and eat properly and do all these things, but you're still down in beers with your mates, or or smoking or something like that. It's not my fault.
Yeah. I think having those firm reasons of why you're doing the things is like it's like, am I doing this to impress my coach, or am I doing this for other reasons that are actually going to help get me over the finish line? You really got to be able to identify, okay, why do I want this? What is this going to move me towards? I think that part of accountability is what has been helpful for me.
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of self-awareness that goes into that, right? So self-awareness is itself, like if you want to develop a form of accountability, and whether that's like there's multipliers to accountability. So having a coach is a multiplier to accountability, because you've got someone that's going to check in on you, provide you systems and frameworks to get those things happening. 100% force multiplier. Get a coach in your pocket. Other force multipliers would be setting up a team around you, knowing other people that are going through the process with you, which is like what we're doing with weekly Zoom meetings, trying to get people in one spot together, because setting up a team of people with shared experiences is a force multiplier. Separating yourself from people or allowing yourself to have negative people around you, that's not a force that's the enemy. You got the enemy in your backyard sabotaging you. You need to get right the hell away from that shit. That's the opposite of a force multiplier. You've got enemy inside the wire. You need to get them out. Create systems to create space between you and them.
I think it's important why, like at home, you need to have those conversations, whether it's a girlfriend or whoever you're living with. Like I live with my girlfriend, so we have to talk to each other, whether it's happened with both of us where she's been super focused on her goals, and she's had to say to me like, all right, I'm focused on this. Let's make sure that we're not bringing any whatever it is junk food into the house, and we're sticking to our meal plans. And the same as when I have my fight, I have to sit down and talk to her and be like, look, we can't have any of this food in the house. We have to hold each other accountable, make sure, because if one of us is off the rails, it's like you said, it's like having the enemy in the backyard.
Yeah, and look at this, that's another conversation I've had. Like a force multiplier too is setting up your environment for success. Like if you've only got so much willpower every day, and I truly believe, unfortunately, that it is a thing. You've only got so much willpower and so many good decisions that you can make in a day. So set up your environment for success, set up your team for success, and all these things are forms of accountability. Well, like, is my home set up for success? No. Well, how can I be accountable for my own space? Well, you are accountable for your own space. Set up your house for success. That's, like, you haven't managed to be accountable. It's like if your boss came up and was like, look at this workspace. This is a trash heap. You can't have your desk like this. He's going to hold you accountable for having your workspace like that. And you would probably be like, after 3 warnings, telling you to find a new job. You got to get those things done. So I think accountability you can set up these systems, but at the end of the day, you are solely only accountable to one person, and that's yourself. And I think that's one really great thing that fighting teaches you, right? Like when you're out there in the ring, like it's nice to have a good corner, but ultimately he isn't throwing punches for you. And sometimes that corner can be it can be like having enemy inside the wire too, if he's trying to get you to do things that that are too complicated or aren't part of the game plan that you've discussed together or worked on together.
It's just unrealistic as well to think that you're going to always have somebody there to hold you accountable. Like if you do an 8-week fight camp, just to have the expectation that someone's going to be there on all your runs and all your training sessions to keep you accountable. It's like there's going to be those times when it just comes down to you got to put the work in.
And look, if you're above 14 years of age, stop asking people to hold your hand. Instead, ask them for information and advice, and make sure you are not an arsehole. If you ask something and they give you advice, you need to at least take some step towards taking that advice on board. And you might not take all of it on board. I try and overwhelm people sometimes with information and then be like, okay, but just pick one thing. Whichever one of those bits of things that you think you can do now, do that. Because that way you're only accountable for like one thing at a time. And there's good science for setting habits, of making sure that you don't overstretch yourself and try and change too many habits or be accountable to too many different things at once. Definitely good talk. Again, that probably lasted longer than I thought it would again, but it's fun talking about these things. I really enjoy it after spending a lot of time in the fitness industry and also training fighters as well. I really appreciate being able to have a chat with other like-minded individuals like that.